We've got a Wharfdale drinks cabinet. How's about that then? There you go. Wonderful. So here I am back home after a lovely day out in Bristol city centre to visit the 2023 What Hi-Fi Sound and Vision Hi-Fi show. The morning started with a typical English morning for this time of year. Even though it's the end of February, it was still absolutely freezing cold this morning, where I think here in Taunton it was about 4 or 5 degrees. So I wrapped myself up warm to try and not get freezing cold. As I say, I left the Taunton train station early this morning and I arrived at Bristol half an hour later. When I arrived at Bristol, it felt even more colder than what it actually did here in Taunton, if that was possible. But the good news is that once I got inside the Marriott's hotel, it was really nice and warm, and there was a good reason why it was so warm inside that hotel. When I did arrive at the Marriott's hotel, I was quite surprised actually, pleasantly surprised at the amount of attendees there was at this year's Bristol Hi-Fi show. I think there was much more people there attending than what there has been previous years. I can't say that with absolute certainty though, because the last time I went 3 years ago, it actually happened to fall on a Sunday. But this time I went on a Saturday, and as I say, when I arrived it was absolutely heaving with a queue of people outside the front of the hotel. But once we got inside, the coldness and the bitter wind of outside was soon forgotten, as it felt much warmer inside the Marriott's hotel itself. As I say, it was absolutely chock-a-block of punters wanting to see the latest hi-fi products, which to me is a good thing because it's still showing the huge amount of interest there is in hi-fi audio products. I know sometimes we can be rather negative about the hi-fi audio industry, but for me personally I found it very, very encouraging to see so many people there in attendance. Because so many people were in attendance, it actually made the filming very, very difficult because I just couldn't see the products, because every single room was absolutely jam-packed of people looking at the latest products. It was, as I say, absolutely heaving in there, and it made it extremely difficult to do any type of recording. And unfortunately, when I got home and looked at the footage that I had actually taken of the show, really I wasn't that pleased with it. It's always very difficult to make films of the shows, because you got so many different challenges. One, you got a lot of people there. Two, the lighting in each and every different room's completely different. Some rooms can be very, very dark. Other rooms can have very harsh lighting in it, and other rooms can be very, very bright. So it's a lot of challenges to try and get good actual footage of the show. And this year, unfortunately, as I say, when I got home and I looked at my footage, I really wasn't that taken in by it, to be honest with you. I'm going to try and edit it, and I'm going to try and show you the best of it as what I possibly can. As I say, I'm not really 100% happy with it at all. Going back to the show itself, once again, I must say it was very encouraging to see the amount of people there. But not also that, I found the sound this year. I know people, again, are also very negative about the sounds that are produced in a hi-fi show. But this year I found the standard to be quite high, actually. In fact, I don't think there was a room that I could say made a bad sound. There was a couple of rooms that I found the sound a little bit weaker, but in general I found the quality of the gear that was on exhibition to be absolutely fantastic, if I'm being honest. Some were possibly a little bit brittle and a little bit hard, but I think there today seems to be a tendency to highlight the mid-range. I noticed a lot of the systems I listened to, the mid-range on them was absolutely fantastic, glorious. I'm not a particularly good person to ask about explaining sound to you, because to me explaining sound is like trying to explain colour to people. How exactly do you explain the colour blue, or how do you explain the colour red, etc., etc.? And I had that same problem when it comes to explaining sound. It's either good or bad. But as I say, this year I found the mid-range on a lot of the speakers to be exemplary. It sounded absolutely fantastic, and there was a lot of emphasis actually on the mid-range more than treble and the bass. As I say, most rooms to me sounded absolutely fantastic, and the standard now, the competition is so competitive that it's really raised the bar. And I thought, as I say, the standard of the reproduction there was absolutely fantastic pucker this year. And also I actually enjoyed Rel. I know last time I sort of criticised them a little bit, that I don't particularly like subwoofers and I found them to be really, really boomy. But this year I was really taken in by the sound that was coming from the Rel room. I know it's home cinema, and what they're demonstrating was a film. I think it was, what's it called, Game of Thrones. But when they put the subwoofer on, it was so impactful and punchy. It was really, really impressive. I was most impressed by the Rel room. Very, very good. Well done to them. As I said, there wasn't no negatives about it. I don't like being negative because I think people make a lot of effort to get there and they try their hardest to make a good sound. So to me, there wasn't really that much things to say to make negative comments about. As I say, overall, I found the show to be absolutely fantastic. And as I say, I'm going to try and show you as best as I possibly can some of the better footage that I've got. I hope you enjoy it, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and let's take a look, shall we? Thanks for watching. Well, pretty jam-packed. There's the HiFi room. People queuing up. Not really into home cinema, to be honest with you. It's not really my type of thing. Televisions, subwoofers and explosions don't really do much for me, to be honest. Very smart. Very retro looking, in fact. Through £28,000. F1.8 by the looks of it, £7,500. The F1.8S at £13,000. So this is SolidSteel. I think they're Italian brand, aren't they? So we've got some stuff to record. It's the Naim Unity Atom Headphone Edition. Naim, I think. I'll go by the drivers. Scott, there's a step there. Well, it looks rather nice, I must say. Very, very nice looking. To blink. There you go. Perfect blink for you. Made from, I guess that's acrylic, I think. Yeah, very nice. SCD. Below that's the M2SI. I guess one's an SACD player. I don't know what it is actually. Why do they give them such complicated names for? my god. Dear, music to give you a headache. It sounds absolutely woeful. No dearie me. Goodness me. Sounds like a boy racer's car, to be honest with you. Right, very busy Saturday. That's what happens when you haven't been for 2 or 3 years. Everyone rushing out. Well, let's see if we can get in there. This is PM's